5.
Terri Marie McClure. On Friday, January 14th, 1983, 38-year-old Timothy Tim McClure was married in Lake Tahoe with his 62-year-old mother, Terri McClure, by his side. Tim had lived off and on with his mother during his 20s. The two often went out to dinner together and gambled at local casinos. On the night of Tim's wedding, the newlyweds and their parents celebrated by gambling at the nearby casinos. At 10 p.m, Terri said goodbye to her son after he walked her to her car. She was planning to return home to Reno, Nevada, about an hour away. She was never seen alive again. At 6 p.m. the next evening, Tim and his new wife went to Terri's home to visit her. However, she was not there. After calling several friends and relatives, Tim called the police to report his mother missing. 3 days later, on Monday, January the 17th, Terri's car was found in a Carson City casino parking lot about half-hour away from Lake Tahoe. Terri was found shot twice in the head in her own car and was believed to have been killed the night of her son's wedding. Authorities found the keys were still in the ignition. Her purse was missing, but her jewellery remained on her body. The next day, police began looking at her son, Tim, as a suspect in her murder. Circumstantial evidence seemed to point to him as being responsible for his mother's death. However, the Nevada DA declined to prosecute. Tim, along with many of his family and friends, insist that he is innocent and that his mother's killer is still out there. From the beginning, authorities considered Terri's son, Timothy McClure, as a suspect in her murder. When questioned, Tim told police that after saying goodbye to his mother at 10 p.m, he returned to the casino. Since his wife was gambling with his parents, Tim decided to gamble alone for about 2 hours. He then rejoined his wife, and the two went dancing until dawn the next morning. Authorities, however, have been unable to substantiate Tim's or his wife's whereabouts for that night. The couple was also unable to name any of the places that they had been to that night. Tim also told police that 2 days before his mother's body was discovered, he had searched the main highway between Lake Tahoe and Reno for his mother's purse. The authorities found it odd that he was retracing his mother's steps looking for an item that nobody had known was missing at the time. Tim, however, claimed that his sister had given him the idea to look for the purse. Tim also searched the parking lots of the casinos on his mother's route looking for her car. He looked through every lot on that route except for one, the parking lot where Terri's body was later found. Tim claimed that a gut feeling kept him from entering this specific parking lot. Authorities were also suspicious of a phone call Tim had made to cancel his mother's credit cards. He claims that he made the call Monday, January the 17th, which was the day that Terri's body was found. However, the credit card company claims that he called on Friday, before his mother even disappeared. Authorities received the memo written by the credit company's employee. It states that on Friday Tim told them that his mother was deceased. Tim, however, claims that the employee was mistaken. 6 months before she was murdered, Terri took out $10,000 insurance policy on her life. Tim and one of his sisters were named as co-beneficiaries. Authorities suspect that this may have been the motive for the murder. Tim, however, claims that he would never kill his mother for money. 1 month after the murder, Tim and his wife agreed to take polygraph tests. Both tests indicated deception. Tim claimed that the situation was awkward and uncomfortable, which led him to failing the test.
4.
20-year-old Gus Hoffman was an avid musician and motorcycle rider. In October 1977, he acquired an old Harley-Davidson Sportster and spent a lot of time, effort and money in restoring it to mint condition. The make and model of bike was popular not only with aficionados, but also criminal bikers, and may have regretfully made Gus a target. Because of this, his parents wanted him to sell the bike. He agreed to do so once he had finished refurbishing it. On July 4th, 1978, he showed off the bike to his brother and told him that he was going to take the bike out for a short ride. However, he never returned. Gus's mother, Rose, became concerned and contacted the police. The police told her that nothing could be done until 48 hours after he was reported missing, so she decided to look for him herself. She canvassed the neighbourhood and soon ran into one of Gus's friends, who worked at a gas station. The friend told her that on the day of Gus's disappearance, he saw Gus pull up to an intersection on his motorcycle. The friend saw 2 other bikers and a blue Monte Carlo riding close behind him. The friend remembered the 2 bikers because they had come into the gas station earlier and had been mean to him. A second witness claimed that the 2 bikers had stopped Gus, argued with him and threatened him with chains. When Gus pulled away, the 2 bikers and the Monte Carlo followed him. The 2 witnesses identified one of the bikers as Michael Hodges, a member of the Forgotten Few motorcycle gang. The other biker was identified as Michael Stevenson, another member of the same gang. Stevenson was a violent career criminal. However, investigators did not have enough evidence to bring the 2 men in for interrogation. Instead, they questioned other gang members who knew the 2 men. Nobody was willing to talk. In order to turn up leads for the police, Rose and a friend named Carol Jensen decided to go undercover to infiltrate motorcycle gang hangouts. The 2 women dressed as best as they could as women bikers. They went to biker bars and other hangouts and questioned bikers, hoping to find anyone who had information about Gus. She solicited and even bought information, sharing any lead she found with the police. Rose hired a private investigator who had connections with motorcycle gangs. He set up a meeting with a woman who claimed to have information about Gus's disappearance. The informant said that Gus was dead. She claimed that he had been tortured for 3 to 5 days before being killed. Rose begged for the woman to talk to the police, but the investigators said that the woman couldn't because she would be killed. Rose believes that the bikers took her son to an unknown home, forced him into the garage, tortured him and murdered him. However, she had no evidence to prove her theory. Then on June 19, 1986, Michael Stevenson was killed during a failed extortion attempt. With Stevenson dead, investigators re-questioned former motorcycle gang members. These members began to talk. They said that Gus had been taken to Stevenson's home, where he was tortured and murdered. In June of 1988, Michael Hodges was arrested and charged with Gus's murder. However, Rose and the investigators are certain that more people were involved in the case. Michael Hodges and Michael Stevenson were identified as the bikers who were last seen with Gus before he vanished. The 2 are considered prime suspects in Gus's disappearance.
3.
On August 17, 1996, 65-year-old Jack Robinson was at the Rosewood Boat Landing in Olympia, South Carolina, with an unidentified man. They had an argument, allegedly, over money in which Jack was fatally stabbed. There was a suspect in the murder who was arrested, but the charges were dropped in 2003. The killer was described by witnesses as a Hispanic male with olive complexion, between the ages of 42 and 52, approximately 5 foot 5 inches tall, and between 150 and 180 pounds, with black hair and a moustache. He has never been identified.
2.
Located in Greyfriars Kirkyard, a cemetery located in Edinburgh, Scotland. The Black Mausoleum is the resting place of Sir George McKenzie. He was Lord Advocate for Charles II, responsible for persecuting the Covenanters, a group of Presbyterians. Since he was the reason for hundreds of deaths while they were imprisoned, McKenzie earned the name Bloody McKenzie. His bloody reign of terror came to an end in 1691 when he died and was ironically buried in a casket contained in a black mausoleum tomb. Nothing strange happened after that. However, in 1998, it was a dark and stormy night when a homeless man looking for shelter found himself outside the black mausoleum, and seeing nowhere else to go, broke the simple lock on the door and went inside. There he found coffins belonging to some of McKenzie's relatives, and he supposedly broke one open out of boredom or a morbid curiosity. Then suddenly the floor beneath him gave way and he fell down into a pit. Activity started to begin with constant sightings of a poltergeist, as well as a number of cold spots and visible burns and bruises, which had been claimed by visitors to the graveyard. Nearly 450 witnesses have come forward, with over 100 having apparently fainted while on the grounds. McKenzie's grave was eventually sealed up, but the attacks kept happening. To date, no explanation has ever been proven.
1.
The Gator Murders, also known as the Gator Tragedy, the Gator Mystery, and the Murphy Murders, is the name given to a still unsolved triple homicide that occurred 1.5 miles from the town of Gator, Queensland, Australia. On the night of Boxing Day 1898, Michael Murphy, aged 29, and his sisters, Nora, aged 27, and Ellen, aged 18, were all returning home in a sulky to their parents' farm outside Gator. They had been to a cancelled country dance in Gator after spending a day at the races at Mount Sylvia, roughly around 3 kilometres outside Gator. The three were murdered in what is still one of the most baffling unsolved murders in Australian history. The next morning, their brother-in-law William McNeil set out looking for them. 2 miles out of Gator on Tent Hill Road, he followed the sulky's tracks, characterised by one wobbly wheel, as they veered through slip rails into Moran's paddock. There he found the bodies of Michael, Ellen and Nora. The girls' clothing was torn, and they had been raped. Michael and Ellen's skulls were crushed. It was later found that Michael had been shot in the head. Nearby was the horse, also shot in the head. It was a horrible crime by any standard, but for it to have happened in an Australian country town in 1898 was almost incomprehensible to a shocked public. Numerous setbacks, which would most likely never occur today, hindered the investigation due to communication breakdowns and reliance on telegrams to relay information. Brisbane police did not learn of the crime until 2 days later. The crime scene was not immediately secured and many people passed through, possibly obliterating valuable clues. At that time, there was only one police photographer who was responsible for covering crimes throughout the state. Bodies were moved before photos could be taken. The press criticised the police for bungling the investigation, while Inspector Urquhart criticised the press for its silly and unreliable reporting. Over the course of the investigation, the police interviewed more than 1,000 people.